All right, hi everybody. I'm Steven right here for News Talk New England. Joining me right now is the directors of media for the Massachusetts Pirates, Mr. Hunter Rowe. I want to thank you, Hunter, for joining us here
Thank you for
on
having
Monday Night
me.
Sports Talk. So let's talk a little bit about what you do with the Pirates. Let's start with this. How did you? Where were you? What moment were you? Okay, let me start over. Explain the moment to me where you either saw this job online or they reached out to you. What was the moment like?
Okay, so it's actually funny. I just graduated college in December, and hitting the real world. All of the graduates are, that's the biggest fear. So about a month before graduation, I'm like, I need to start applying to everything, everywhere. At first, I'm from Arizona. At first, I was like, let me try to find something in the state. I could stay near friends, near family. But there really wasn't much because I specifically wanted to be around football. And I just found the position on Teamworks Online for the director of media content and relations for the Pirates, and it was actually really funny. I had already had experience in the IFL. I worked for the Naz Wranglers.
Okay.
They won the championship last year. I was with them for the first year. I was just a corporate communications intern, and I was interning with their now director of communications. And I was like, oh my gosh, a position for a football team that sounds right up my alley, and I have experience in the league. So I called up my guy for the Wranglers, and I was like, "Hey, would you put in a word for me, uh, for IFL experience?" And word got to Jawad, the owner, and I was lucky enough to be accepted, picked for the position. So I got here in January, and it was my first big trip across the country. I could probably count on one hand how many times I've gone on a plane prior to this job. Um, got here in January, like I said, and been enjoying Worcester. I think that's how you say it. And
Yeah, you're right.
I think
You
I
got
can
the
say it
first
now.
shot, first time.
Yeah, it's been a good 6 months, and I'm looking forward to what's to come.
So how did you prepare for this season? What were the sort of the things that you did to prepare for the season?
Really, it was just looking around the league to see when it comes to social media, sports social media at least, um, just seeing what the standard is and how I can build on top of that. Whether it be videography, photography. Photography is my biggest love, but in my position, I have to do a little bit of everything. So lining up interviews, doing interviews, producing videos, writing articles, a little bit of everything. So when it comes to preparing for this job, um, really just having that passion and the goal to be number one. That's what I try to strive myself on, is being the best in the league, um, and that's what I'm going for. I tell the players all the time, I'm just like them. I'm trying to build my tape to get to the big leagues, and to do that, you gotta set your standards high. So
So obviously this is a job, so it's going to be a lot of hard work.
for
But
sure,
I'm a guy I like to have fun in life because life it's all about having fun. So
yeah.
what's the most fun thing about being part of this organization?
Really? Okay, so I'm not one of the players. I know that,
Sure.
but I do get to travel with them, and really, the reason I wanted to stick in football and work in football was because I played it as a kid. I played it in high school, and no one knows this about me, but I injured my knee. I tore my ACL 3 times, not just once, but 3 times. I'm also, even if that didn't happen, I'm 5'8", 250. So it's not happening for me on the field. So. I knew that I had to pursue it a different way. And the fun part for me, to answer your question, is the camaraderie. That's the one thing that I missed. The locker room camaraderie, being around these players. What just walking over here to this interview was like full of laughs. So
Yeah.
that's the most fun part of the job for sure.
Well, now let's still talk a little bit about your time with the Northern Arizona Wranglers, who
Yeah.
won the championship last year. What was it like being with that team? What was it like winning the championship with that team?
So right now they're in their third season, and I was actually with them for their first season. Their second
Oh,
season
okay.
was when they won the championship, and it's actually funny. They went from worst to
That's
first.
right. They
Yeah,
did.
they won. I believe it was one
They
game
won one game.
in their inaugural season, and let me tell you, it was not fun in that building.
I can imagine.
Having one win under your belt. Granted, that one win was a good time. It was such an emotional moment. We had coaches crying, but I had to go back to school during their championship year, so I missed getting the ring. But my time with the Wranglers was good. I still have connections there. It's actually my hometown.
Right.
So they practice on my high school field. So we actually take a trip to Arizona here in 3 weeks, I believe it is.
Yeah,
to
July
play-
8th.
Yeah,
Yep,
to play
July
the
8th.
the Rattlers and the Wranglers. So it's a nice little homecoming for me. So I'm looking forward to it.
That'll be fun. Like you mentioned, the Northern Minnesota Wranglers won one game in their inaugural season, and I mentioned this when we went to Albany last year. They clean house. Absolutely nobody, no players, no coaches, no front office, nobody returned the next year. They want to win the championship. Called it one of the greatest comebacks in sports history to go from
Oh.
that to a championship. Let's talk about last week's game. The Fighters came to town, the number one team in the IFL, and the Pirates overtook them. They got the win. What was the locker room like after that game?
Oh, it was a great time. It was a great time. A lot of stuff that I can't say on camera.
Sure.
A lot of game balls were given out. It was a good time. It really brings up the vibe in the locker room. I'm sure these players are so excited. And as the social media guy, that just means I get to have more fun. When you're losing, you got to be all serious, but when those wins start rolling, you could start joking around, have a little more fun. So from my perspective, I love it, obviously.
I know, obviously, last week we had the culture and community night in that Frisco game. Next week, we got summer kickoff.
Yeah.
Do you know if there's anything we can expect to see, any performances or anything like that to kick off the summer?
So I don't know about any specific performances. I'm not with the Game Ops crew, but I will say something that fans can look forward to is we have the first 500 fans will get a Thomas Owens bobblehead.
That's right. I
Yes.
forgot about that. I saw that online.
So they actually just arrived today. We got to see them in person just today. So that's something you can look forward to.
Oh man, I'm very excited. Thomas Owen bobblehead night this Saturday at the DCU Center as the Massachusetts Pirates take on the Vegas Nighthawks. Hunter Rowe, media director for the Massachusetts Pirates. I want to thank you for coming on.
Yeah.
And we'll see you on Saturday. Good luck the rest of the way. And
sure.
again, thanks a lot.
Yeah, no.
Enjoy the water.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. I've been looking at it this whole time.
Yeah, gold Embryum filtered water.
Well, thank you for having me on. I appreciate
Thank you, Filter. Now we've switched over to the DJ Harding and Tiffany Williams, who's sitting by with Isaac Zico and Jimmy Robinson.